Thank you.
And are we done with item 8 then, or are we?
So for item 8, I didn't speak much on it as they gave their
Right.
description earlier because I was waiting for Alderman Stamper. Part of the reason that I chose to bring this forward was a couple of things. One, because of something going on with businesses in Alderman Stamper's district. They used to be in my district, Coffee Makes You Black in particular. But two, because I got an email from the people over at Outpost in my district on East Capitol because of bridge work that's being done over there. And he CC'd me on an email that he sent to the to DPW. And it spoke to, I'll just read it really quickly for you. It said, can you give me an update on the Capitol Drive Port Road Bridge project? The road work now extends all the way to First Street, and our customer count for September is down about 4,000 visits. This is one of the slower projects I have seen the city of Milwaukee do, and it is having a pretty profound effect on our location and other businesses in the area. We experienced a similar road work event in Wauwatosa when they reconstructed State Street, which one of our locations is on. The project engineer checked in with the store team weekly and more frequently when specific work impacted us. We also had access to the weekly construction meetings. We have had very little communication on this project besides the couple website updates. So it is when I received or was CC'd on that email that I thought to put in September 24th, that I thought to put in a communication file just to see what exactly are we doing, because it was actually in Alderman Kovac, you may recall this, it was actually when the Humboldt Street Bridge was getting done and we were getting all the complaints from business owners over there that DPW came up with the idea of the creation of the business support position. And you all may recall Cecilia Gilbert was in that position, and even then she was kind of making it up, like what can we be doing for these businesses. And I remember working with her on that project and trying to work with the businesses and several others subsequently working with businesses and neighbors. But since her departure, I haven't really had a chance to work with Megan. But I assume the same ways of operating were still being continued on, but I didn't know. So my point of bringing this file forward is I know that road construction has to happen. People want the roads redone. We need them redone. But I just want to make sure that we're doing all we can as a city to lessen the negative impact to the businesses along the way in whatever ways we can. And so that brings me to Coffee Makes You Black. I've had the opportunity over the last several weeks to go to Coffee Makes You Black with my family, and as I drove up, I could see the challenges in even accessing the business. And having gone through several of these projects in other areas of the city, I did feel as if it probably could have been staged a little different. That could have lessened the difficulty in access at points. And I'm sure you all saw this weekend the tremendous community support for Coffee Makes You Black in spite of the construction to try to draw people to the business because of business they've lost. So again, I just want to make sure we're doing everything we can as a city to communicate ongoing with businesses and attempt to work with them and the construction crews to make sure that access to their businesses is as good as possible and that the negative impacts of the construction while it's happening are as minor as possible. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Stamper?
Yeah, thank you. Please indulge me. I'm sorry what have I missed, but I would like for them to explain A to Z what happens in the beginning when we get notified of a construction that is going to occur, what happens during the time, and what happens after. Who's responsible for the bidding, the contracting, the minority hiring, and who's responsible for the construction on a day-to-day basis, and why don't they work consistently every day? There's multiple videos on Coffee Makes You Black website to say, hey, they're not out here working, they're not out here working. So there's been days that there's no contractors working on the job. So I'd like the answers to those questions along with the A to Z, and then I'll follow up with accountability questions.
Who wants to take that?
I am. I'll take it.
And please let us know your title and your role and your responsibilities of the city and the construction that happens in this city.
Samir Amin, city engineer. Are we talking specifically about Taytonia?
Excuse me?
Just Taytonia.
Well,
I mean,
if
because
it's-
each project is
Tony's
separate.
treated separate, differently?
Different than other jobs that
Well,
we...
the example of Teutonia.
Okay.
And what's happening over there.
No, West Taytonia or project is a state and federal aid project. It's
A state, excuse me?
state and federal aid.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Means the majority, 80% of the funds come from the state or the federal government. The process is controlled by the state. It's their manual, it's their bidding, it's their letting, it's their contract. They put the regulations for DBEs or SBEs. We don't. In this instant, we don't even manage the construction in Taytonia. Other jobs, we do manage the construction. But when we manage them, they actually, we're partners in it. We're treated like same as a consultant. But obviously, we prefer to manage them. A lot of times, we manage our own projects, even if it's state. In this instant, we didn't. It's being managed by a consultant that was picked by the state. But we still have an oversight. Before the project starts, we put the documents together following the state requirements. The documents that we put involve construction section and during the design portion that addresses access issues. I'm sure we missed some points, during access. We modify access requirements as we go if we get a call. And I was talking to the alderwoman out there. So she mentioned the coffee make you black, and she mentioned one instance that we can address that. I can call, or the construction office can call the project manager out there and address a temporary access off the removed roadway for maybe till they put the concrete. Those things we can do. So we do communicate with all the businesses prior to construction. So if they have a specific requirements for example, if they have 2 access points, and we can't build them both at the same time, so we tell them we're going to take one out while we build the other one. That's written into the documents. Now, later on, the contractor may deal with the business directly and make a different deal, which is fine as long as it's in writing. Say, hey, can I take them both for a week instead of taking one for 3 weeks and the other one for 3 weeks? They agree on those things, but at least we give them one way in the documents. Most of these problems, in each job, when we write it, it depends on the width of the road. I know Chad mentioned that. Is it one way south, one way north? In Taytonia, it is kind of unique because it's only one way. If it was 2-way, the access will be easier because now if you're heading to a certain area and you get to that point and it's only one way south, you have to go all the way around and come back. And unless you're going to that business, you probably will avoid it. That's how it works. So we don't have control over the hiring of laborers there. The contractor is picked by the DOT. They monitor construction. They do the daily progress. They set a time limit on this project to be completed by December. I may agree with you that the perception that you may not see anybody out there. There is work in preparation for the mainline concrete that requires minimal workforce. And that's what people see. When you see the concrete crews, you see a lot of people, 50, 60 people out there. That's not the norm. That's only for a week. For 2 or 3 months, you're doing underground utilities that require probably 3 crews on a mile long, so 1 on each side. You don't see them everywhere on the job.
Hey, Samir, I just want to clarify this for accuracy. Is it true that a contractor, just like in this case, can work on multiple projects at one time, therefore neglecting a project that they could be finishing and then move on to the next project? Is that accurate?
Well, that's not. He works on multiple projects. He doesn't neglect it. He has a time limit to finish this project. He has till December.
Right,
Early December.
Could it be earlier if they focused on this project, then go to the next project?
Well, it will be earlier if he focuses on the other project. I can't force him to focus as long as he's following within the completion time. If he comes in October and he knows he's not going to make that December 6th or whatever that date, he's going to concentrate on that job.
Let me ask you this. Do we have oversight over saying, hey, you finish this job first, or you can't work on multiple jobs?
No, I don't have that power.
Who has that authority?
That's the DOT. But that's
you-
in the bidding documents. If you don't put it in the bidding documents, if you don't put it, to say you're telling the contractor from the get-go, you must finish, I mean, you have to give them a date, October. But that will cost, obviously. There's always a cost to making a contractor concentrate or do a job in a shorter period than what the normal practices are.
Well, it's either a cost to the contractor or the state, or a cost to the business.
Well, I mean,
One of the others. Which one is worse?
there's best practices in doing construction, and that's what we follow, which is all set up in manuals that the DOT provides.
So the Department of Transportation, now
Yes.
who has the authority of making those bids where we can say, in small business instances, you need to finish this project and focus on this project until it's done? Who has that authority?
I mean, that requirement will have to be discussed in the design from the get-go with the DOT. Like, if you come into me in a city job and you tell me, well, I want you to do this in a week, I'm going to tell you, well, I can't. If I do, instead of spending $1 million, I'm spending $4 million.
Okay, so the city
Cannot on this instance, no. I mean, on city-controlled jobs, we have the authority, which is, we don't have that problem because we don't do a lot of reconstruct.
okay, so let me reframe it. In this situation, Teutonia,
It's a DOT.
okay, so who, if we wanted to do it over at the DOT, who do we tell at the DOT?
I would start at the Secretary of Transportation.
And the
Are they
state
under some type of
representatives.
elected, I guess the
And
question
you're
is,
elected,
are they under some type of elected board where they can write policy? Who's the policy writers for the DOT?
The state legislature.
The state legislatures, okay, all right, that was the question,
Yeah.
okay. All right, go ahead and finish, please.
So anyway, this project is set up to be completed within a certain time limit, based on what they feel it's the best practices that gives you the best value for your dollar.
Okay, so this is what I need over there. I went by there this morning, last weekend, and then I talked to the owners. So we got 3 businesses that have closed.
Have closed already?
Yeah, 3. I went to watch the fight to support the business on the rookies on Saturday night. Not one person came in there. Coffee Makes You Black is down 60% in business.
60?
60 in business.
And
Thank
he
you.
lost a tenant, right?
And lost a tenant, but that was one of the businesses on. But thank you to the community, just publicly, for coming out to support. It's good to see you there, you and the whole family, Molly. So I need a pathway from one side of the street to the other. It's real muddy, and people can't get past because there's no way to get through from the street. So I need a big, right now they got a board out there. They have to do that themselves. I feel that we should be.
No, we'll do that. These are the things that.
You said we can do access,
Yeah, if
right.
I hear, or the construction office or Chad's office hears of it, we can call the project manager, says, hey, we need
Let
something
me get a
temporary
big
to do that.
board. I
Yes.
need another sign at the end of Locust, and
We can discuss about, just, I'll take the
all
details
right,
from you.
all right, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Now, contractors and the oversight, they did half of the sidewalk, which made a trip hazard for people going in and out of Coffee Makes You Black. Who's responsible for saying, hey, man, finish the sidewalk? Don't do half of it where I can fall and trip and get into the mud versus half of the sidewalk. Who's responsible for saying,
I mean, you're
finish
talking
this
about the
first?
sidewalk and the whole site.
Yeah, just finish
That's
the
what
whole
we're saying.
part
We do it.
by the door when you walk in and out.
But I know-
Can they at least be courteous enough to finish the whole walkway? Who's responsible for that?
The project manager out there, and we'll talk to them. I mean, these are the issues that when we find out, we'll find out what the reason. It could have because of the rain. They're not going to come in and just. Sometimes we do it for the businesses. We take the walk. I was explaining to Alderwoman Cox that we write it in. You can't take the walk from in front of the business for more than 5 days or 10 days, not the whole 3 months. Because it's cheaper for them to take it out the first time. So it's probably written in the contract. We will talk to the project manager and find out what we can do to improve accessibility there.
Okay.
That's what the support for business is.
Is there have we done any research in other cities or in our experience on how we can help out businesses as far as financially while they're going through the struggle? If they reach a certain threshold and they're about to close or they can't keep up with this struggle, has there been any type of monetary support?
Not that I know of, ever.
I'll talk to my colleagues, but maybe we can put together like a loan for a certain criteria on certain businesses where they can borrow this money to support their staff and ongoing operations during a time period, and then repay it back once they are back open, possibly.
So I know when Cecilia Gilbert had the support position, the potential grant and/or low-interest loan was something that many business owners were requesting.
Okay.
I know she had did some research, so it might be worth reaching out to her about what she had came up with. It just never was able to be instituted.
So,
Well, some of those were facade grants, but they don't pay for, they would, yes, they don't pay for employees. What we're telling them that, this, and I'm not going to lie here, say that construction doesn't affect business. It does affect business, but it has to go on. What we tell them during this slow period, maybe if you have to do improvement and, adjust your labor force, this is the right time to do it. And the city would, if they have any access to facade grants or any grants that will improve the business, this is the time to do it.
okay.
That's what Cecilia had at the time, and that's what we proposed.
So do you feel that we're doing all we can, Samir?
We can, we'll do better. We'll talk to the construction manager out there. I met with the contractor myself, and I had a commitment from him that traffic will be on Taytonia both direction by the end of November.
Okay. Thank you.
Unless we get what we guys were talking about, snow. Yeah.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Alderman Carter.
I just want to make sure that lines of communication remain open with the city and whatever necessary parties, because I know it's not all on the support business liaison, but also project managers and others, that whoever the team that has to be communicated with as challenges arise, that communication is twofold. I know earlier in our conversation there was a lot of talk about when they come to us.
Right.
I think, everybody doesn't understand how the city system works. Everybody doesn't trust government. Everybody doesn't. So the thought and idea that even as they struggle, that they're necessarily going to just come to us, is not always, unfortunately, what happens. So whatever efforts we can make as a city and those working with the project to make sure that lines of communication are continue to be open so that there is a clear path. Like Coffee Makes You Black, the owner happens to know Russell. The owner happens to know me and other people. But it's a lot of these small businesses that don't have those relationships. So them feeling comfortable enough to reach out for whatever assistance they think might be possible or whatever their challenges are. Because some of them don't even believe it can be handled. Like you just said, we could put on a board. They're just saying, this is construction, the city is sticking it to me, and I'm just having to deal with it.
Right.
They're not thinking of the solutions that as a person who's worked with these projects before. So some of them may not outreach because they don't think the city's going to give them a solution. So I know this is not all going to be answered in a one-time thing, but I would hope the way that we move forward with these projects is to kind of turn that idea around and to let businesses and even neighbors in some cases know that, they can communicate with us, and where possible, we can make appropriate accommodations.
Exactly.
Mr. Chair, what has helped, Samir, is those weekly emails. Why don't you just develop a group email for all the businesses? and
We do,
just
actually.
You have that? Are they getting the same updates weekly as I am?
We send emails out, and we react to their needs too. And that's what I'm saying. If they, we tell them the progress on the project. This is what's going on.
Okay, can you copy me on those emails?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So the new Cecilia, who is it? Is that
Megan O'Connor, she's there.
Okay,
She
Megan
was up
You
O'Connor.
haven't met her right there.
Where is she?
She was here, not hiding.
Hi. Okay. All right. Do they have your information, Megan? Everybody knows you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have you been to their businesses and introduced yourself?
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, we're just in a meeting under needing help, but
So prior to construction, I build a business contact list. So I reach out to businesses, introduce myself, try to get the main point of contact, especially emails, because with construction, you want to send timely updates, and emails seem to be the quickest form to
Okay.
send that update. So yes, I do have a business list. You are on that list, so every email I send out that you receive, the business is received.
Okay, good. Okay, so, but have they met you?
Some of them have. I have gone to some of the doors. I haven't gone to every single business on every single project, but I have in some way communicated
Sure.
with a business.
I don't remember, Chad, when we had those previous meetings in preparation for this construction, was Megan hired?
Yes.
Yes, I was at the PIM in 2018,
What's PIM?
a public involvement meeting.
Okay, were you at the ones at North Division?
Yes, in 2018.
As was I.
Yeah, no, I remember you. I remember Megan. Did you talk, Megan?
Well, there was,
So on
I'm just playing with you. I don't remember you, Megan.
on DOT projects, the process for the public informational meetings is pretty rigid. There's really not generally a presentation given. Alternatives are put up on boards. And then we have various engineers, to talk to people as they come in. The point is that you don't want to try to bias the process by saying one alternative is better than another. And so there really is generally not a presentation. When you ask, did we talk? Well, yeah, we interacted with whoever came, but more on one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? It's an open house format, so.
Maybe we should try to do a presentation on like, this is what's happened in the past, this is what you could occur. Do you have any questions? What would you like to put forth now to prepare? There should be some back and forth discussion, and a presentation should be done on what businesses should expect. I thought it was a presentation format. I went to the format, it was walking around in 101, but I think we need a presentation.
We can do a general presentation, but again, we just have to be very careful on the state and federal aid projects that we're not biasing. We're not giving a bias to the people.
Are you talking about a presentation after the before the project starts construction?
Yeah.
Yes,
What
we
do
do
you-
that.
What do you
which is-
mean?
So at the PIMs, this is during the design phase, when we're presenting them with different alternatives. The DOT is very concerned about not
No, I'm
biasing
talking
that
about
process.
in preparation.
But
like
as far
at
as
those North
pre-construction,
Division meetings, when we did that 6 months, a year ahead of time,
PIM.
those
That was for
presentations,
the design.
Yes.
We haven't,
before we get started.
yes.
yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
and then there's a meeting right before construction. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
We have a
but-
pre-construction meeting.
We had 3 meetings.
Right.
In the 3 meetings, just a presentation.
And the last one, we do the presentation, which is the pre-construction. Okay. All right.
We can do that.
All right, are we good for now?
I have a question as well, or a couple maybe. So I understand that, some of this is related to, the Department of Transportation of the state. But I don't know if the question was asked, are there weekly construction meetings on
Yes.
this? Okay. And who attends those meetings?
Normally, our supervisor, our coordinator, Megan, our support for business, the contractor, and the project manager.
Okay. And are
It's not open, I mean, if the businesses want to show up, they can if they want.
Okay, that was my,
Yeah.
so affected businesses are able to attend
Oh, yeah.
this meeting if they so
Yeah,
choose?
if they so
and
choose.
Is it made known to them that they have the ability to attend these meetings if they?
We can tell them that. We can send an email, says, they know, because on the newsletter, we say these weekly progress meetings happen. They can
Okay.
call and say, what is it? It may change the time, but it's on the job. And
Yeah, so you're saying in the emails that you're giving them an update, and you can invite them, but
We can, if we
but do
have-
they know right
If
now?
we want to, if they wish to, yeah, if anybody wishes to attend a meeting, if they contact us, we'll tell them what the meeting is.
Okay, well, I think we should work to make that more clear
I mean,
to them that.
we don't, normally these meetings discuss progress for the contractor, change orders, it's all business-like, but we can have a half an hour dedicated to the businesses prior to that discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Alderman Coggs said just recently about the location, the Outpost location in her district versus the one in Wauwatosa, and how the lines of communication were open, for that business. And I just think it's fair to them. You're not leaving them in the dark.
Right.
They know where they
100%.
are. They're not they know that the project will conclude in December, but folks get anxious, especially if things seem to be just sort of blowing in the wind
Yeah.
like that, especially in a location like this. So I think
Good
that's
idea.
important.
Excellent. You gave me an idea.
All right, we got to move along here. at
We
some
got to
point.
move along, but just
Yeah, all
real
right.
quick. what brought out the show of support for the community was the social media and the news. Maybe we should do that as a city. Hey, go support this business. Social media outblast, and a whole bunch of people came based on this lady wanting to support.
You did a great job.
Well, it was a team effort, but we should do something like that. Channel 25 should say, during this construction, go support District 2, District 8, District 3, whatever the business is. Say the business 100 times, get people out there and say they're struggling. Business, go support it. I think we should do that. And
You
all
got
of
the
us be
spot.
the front face of whatever district is struggling. You get on 25, you get on social media, and you blast it to the community.
All right,
That's what helps. Thank you.
thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
All right, well, we'll
That's what helps.
receive, Alderman Johnson moves receive and place on file, and hearing no objections, that's so ordered. Thank you.